It's like those old Spider-Man cartoons where he would fly through the city and like attaching his webs to clouds, basically.
We've been through this.
Yeah.
It's airplanes.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass.
I know that, Mr. Man. They also call them cereals. I'm not stupid, you know.
The story is ludicrous. You can imagine where it goes from here.
Fixes the cable.
Why do they call you Action anyway?
Have to catch a cab.
He's a cop who carries no weapon.
This Jackson is so vicious, we don't even let him have a gun.
You know he tore that boy's arm off.
He had a spare.
He's a man who's no talk and all action.
How do you like your ribs?
Yubby-dubby-doo. When it calls for action, he's the one to call. Carl Weathers is Action Jackson, and action is on the way.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
The time is 9:20. It is after dark here in Vancouver. This is Black Dog Video. That makes this, logically, using your powers of deduction, the Black Dog Video After Dark podcast, a.k.a. Black Dog After Dark. I'm one of your three hosts, Dylan Reimer. I'm a stand-up comic and occasional employee of Black Dog Video here in Vancouver. And sitting to my left is...
I'm Alex Chisholm. I'm also an employee of Black Dog Video, and I also program films at the Rio Theater just down the street.
Fine establishment.
Yes. I'm Darren Gay. I'm the owner of this sweaty fetid establishment. Soon to be the sole Black Dog Video, probably by the time this airs, actually. As I've sold the other one, and it's going to be going into RJ's fine hands and turned into something wonderful.
He's not going to maintain the Black Dog name?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I don't think he can, actually. I think there's some legal stuff.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know all the details. We're still hashing everything out.
I'm sure he'll. And part of the fun about buying a business, I imagine, is it's like having a kid. You get to pick the name, and then everything else sucks.
Yeah, you don't want the doctor to give your kid the name, right?
No, right?
Yeah,
that'd be weird.
It's like, redhead.
Yeah, Satan, Dracula,
whatever. I don't know what doctors. Male.
Video.
Yeah, boy.
Tonight's motion picture that we will be discussing is, do you want to set this one up, Darren, as it was your pick?
1988's attempt to launch a black hero action franchise with Carl Weathers in the title role of Action Jackson.
Action fucking Jackson.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Jackson, I believe.
Jericho Jackson.
Jericho,
yes. It was better than Jeremiah.
Um,
But yes, it's a movie I have mixed feelings about. It's it's been a bit of a bane in my existence for as long as I can remember.
How so?
I will tell you. Listen
Please
up.
do.
Pull up your chair, and I will tell you.
I will.
Well, when I first watched this back in, it's probably 89, because I watched it on VHS when it came out. I don't know exactly. It came out in 88, so
it used to take a long time.
Well, it came out in February of 88, so it probably hit the video shelves later that year. And I had made my girlfriend, Patricia at the time, watch it with me, thinking, oh, well, I'll just watch this fun action movie. And needless to say, she did not like it. No. She did not like it one bit, and it became sort of a bit of a sore spot throughout our relationship. She'd constantly make fun of me for Action Jackson. Every time we had an argument or something like that, or something happened or whatever, she'd say, yeah, but you like Action Jackson. Like it just, and this went on even after we broke up, because we stayed friends. I still say we're friends. I don't see her anymore, but
yeah.
I ran into her at the other shop maybe about 6-7 years ago. She lived over in the neighborhood and she was renting.
She was Action Jackson?
She brought up Action Jackson.
I thought she was renting Action Jackson.
I wish.
That'd be too, ha!
Yes.
The worm has turned.
Exactly. I could throw it in her face, hot soup in her face. But no, it's always been one of those things. I've always wanted to go back and rewatch it because I liked it at the time.
Yeah.
And she did not. And it's just, but the funny thing is, I went to watch it this Saturday. And so I was having dinner with my wife. And
who likes Action Jackson?
Well,
that's the foundation of an excellent relationship.
That's what I was hoping.
I'm cutting to the chase on this.
Yes. No, so I was, we were having dinner and I said, okay, I got to watch a movie for the podcast tonight. And I told her what it was. She goes, that's fine. And then so 10 o'clock rolls around while we've been hanging out, and I smoked a joint, and I had a couple beers. I go, all right, I'm going to watch the movie. And she looks at me and goes, oh, I don't think I want to watch the movie. I don't, it's like it's Saturday night. Can't we just hang out? And I got all sort of huffy. I got all huffy, and I went out and sat in the backyard, and I was a little mad. And then she came out, and we got in a little bit of an argument, and she went to bed. And then I ended up watching the movie about an hour later.
Carl Weathers appeared to you in a cloud, like,
Darren, fuck her, watch the movie.
So my two experiences watching Action Jackson both resulted in relationship strife, exactly,
and lack of Action Jackson.
Yeah. So yeah, if you want to throw some hot sauce on a relationship that doesn't want any hot sauce, watch Action Jackson with your significant other. That's all I have to say. And there's my, I'm gonna say 2 bits. That's probably about 10 bits worth.
So 1988 began the slow downward spiral of young love.
Yeah.
And then it almost destroyed a 30-year marriage.
Almost, well, not quite 30, but yeah, almost destroyed our marriage.
Oh, no, the movie came out 30 years ago.
Yes, it almost destroyed our marriage.
It's all about your marriage to Action Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
it's been a ball and chain for you.
My marriage to Action Jackson remains unsullied. We're still pretty tight. Although, he's a tough lover to, keep around. Not a lot of people like him.
Yeah. Although, well, we'll get into...
It's like having that girlfriend or boyfriend that nobody likes,
Who?
Action Jackson.
Action Jackson?
Yeah. Yeah. And, every time you go out with them or you bring them around, everyone's like, why'd you bring that fucking guy around?
I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you really like him? That's what we're here to determine.
I'll save my judgments till the final closing bell of this podcast.
I remember this movie. I'd never seen it. Amazingly, library of trash movies in my head. I never got around to watching Action Jackson. I don't know why. I even had the poster when I was a kid.
Really?
I was in grade 8 when this came out.
You had an Action Jackson poster?
By poster I mean like I'd go to the...
It was over your bed,
I'd get
right?
like Marquee magazine. I would just take out any movie ad.
But you didn't have like a life-size poster of Carl Weathers as Action Jackson.
Oh, a boy could hope.
Oh.
Out there in the suburbs. A very Caucasian family out there in the suburbs with son. What's with this 6'3" cardboard cutout of Carl Weathers, star of Rocky? 1, 2, 3.
I don't know how. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
He's up until 4. He dies in part 4. Spoiler alert!
I thought he died. I thought he died in 3.
He dies in 3.
Part 3, he trains Rocky to
to
defeat Mr. T. But in part 4,
right.
He comes out of retirement and
Drago with what's his
Lundgren. I gotta be honest, he kind of has it coming. Because everyone's like, don't underestimate this guy, and it's just supposed to be like, whatever, it's an exhibition match.
And he waltzes in there.
But he's such a cocky fuck that anybody who's not a super patriotic American asshole is like, oh, wouldn't it be great if he just got murdered? And it actually, my dream came true.
Yeah.
Sorry, Action Jackson. Anyway, I'd never seen this movie, but I have fond memories of
that poster.
of the 8x10 glossy ad that I ripped out of Marquee magazine. But I had I was one of those kids who I had like 100 of those things on my wall.
Right.
It was just movies.
Right. You like movies back then.
And I hadn't seen half of them. I just like the idea of movies.
Right. Well, the posters. Some of the posters are pretty cool. Like the poster for this is pretty cool. It's like
it's
him and Vanity. I don't know.
Back to back, and it looks exactly like the Pretty Woman poster,
which
came out later. Richard Gere and Julia Roberts back to back.
Right. You think they stole that from Action Jackson?
I think so.
I think
not so much. It was an homage, not a theft. An homage.
It was either A View to a Kill or maybe The Man with the Golden Gun. I remember there being a Bond one where they're back to back. I think all the Bond ones he's back to back at some point. So I got the impression because he's dressed to the nines and he's got like almost like a Man with a Golden Gun type gun, He's
got really good posture.
Anyway, so I knew nothing about this movie.
So actually, a quick question: the poster now that's on the Internet Movie Database is it's him and Vanity back to back with a really big
Sharon Stone
head.
That's definitely like
that's not what it was.
That's definitely like White Fear.
No, that wasn't. That was added way later because she wasn't a big star.
She wasn't a big star then.
No, she wasn't a big star, and no, I didn't even become aware of Sharon Stone until I saw Total Recall.
Or Basic Instinct.
Total
you know.
Recall was before Basic Instinct.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, but that was the first time. Total Recall was the first thing I remember.
Was she in
I
Ellen
recall
Quartermain?
seeing her.
Oh.
Was she in Ellen Quartermain in Lost City of Gold?
Yes, she
Or
was,
was
but I
that,
didn't
or was
see
that
that
Kim
movie.
Cattrall? I always get Sharon
She
Stone.
was definitely in one of those films. He made 2 Alan Quartermain movies, Richard Chamberlain.
never
Yeah,
saw
so
either
it
of
was
those.
Sharon Stone. Anyway, so I knew nothing about it except it was probably my first, the first like blaxploitation concept that ever entered my head.
Right.
But other than that, I got nothing to say.
Right, and then this was after the obviously after
Years
blaxploitation,
after, yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
mostly a '70s thing.
Like they were
Yeah.
trying to sort of like, restart the blaxploitation
They
thing
were,
or whatever.
yep.
Anyway, Alex, how about you?
This was my first time ever seeing it. I, too, remember the ads for it. I don't even think it played
in Dartmouth.
in Dartmouth or
No.
Halifax. I don't think it even played there. I remember the ad in back-to-back with Vanity without Sharon Stone in the background.
Right.
In Rolling Stone magazine, and the title made me chuckle because it's goofy. But
Yeah.
I like Carl Weathers. I think this was right after Predator, so
Yeah.
he was. I like Carl. I like the
Yeah.
Rocky movies, and
Yeah.
he's
He's
got
got-
a
he's-
small but kick-ass
He's
team
got,
member part in
he's got
Predator.
good. He's got good charisma on screen.
He does. So
Yeah.
I remember, although thinking the name was a bit goofy, it always reminded me a bit of like in the '80s there were wrestlers like Special Delivery Jones and guys like that
Right.
who
right.
weren't big stars, but they'd come out and lose the match right away. Or as we used to call them in Dartmouth, we used to call them shark bait.
A jobber,
but,
a wrestling jobber.
But so I wanted to see the film, even though I thought with a title like that it had to be somewhat goofy. But I was watching every other action film coming down the pipe. But
did they not have?
my friends and I just didn't end up renting it. Or
Did they
whatever.
not have theaters in Dartmouth?
They had theaters,
I
but
thought
we've
you had
been
to
through
watch
this.
them on the side of a barn.
They
But I
project
just
them
don't
on the side of an
remember-
outhouse.
Yeah,
I don't remember
exactly.
Action Jackson.
You have to sit on a
ever
bale of
coming.
hay to watch it.
It may have, but I certainly don't remember it ever playing Action Jackson.
Did you have the poster on your wall like Dylan?
I did not,
No.
but I did see it.
You
in
didn't
the
have
show
walls in
Rolling
your house, though,
Stone.
did you? No.
Yeah.
Until
I don't know why.
yesterday.
I guess I just didn't think it looked very good. I was just like, I like the title. It's catchy.
Yeah.
But then it was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair
but
enough.
I like goofy action films, so especially
Well,
back then. And
you got more than your money's worth
Yes.
with Action Jacks. Anyway, so it starts off some dude in an office,
Mm-hmm.
a very familiar looking actor.
Yeah, he's a creepy looking guy. Is that it's not Robert Davey, is it? I know he's in this
Robert
movie.
Davi's the guy with like he's got like the Bryan Adams face.
Oh,
He's
right,
got like
yeah,
the pockmark.
right.
Yeah,
Moon crater face.
Robert Davi is from
Davey?
Robert Davy.
Davey?
Whatever. I know him as the bad guy from The Living or License to Kill.
He was also in Showgirls with other
Oh,
people.
that's right.
Yes,
Yeah, he always looks like a bit of a creep.
with Elizabeth Berkley and others.
and others. Yes.
He's never the romantic lead. Anyways, he doesn't turn up for a while.
There's no Jack
it's like
Palance.
some creepy businessman is like in his office, and I think it's his secretary is
Yeah,
there,
it looks
Mhm.
like a second.
and they're about to bone or something.
Yeah,
and then you hear a thump on the roof.
He's being inappropriate with the secretary, and then
I think she's on her way out to a date, and
Right.
he's
and then so these guys break into the apartment.
Well, it's actually a well done scene because you hear a thump on the roof. I didn't think it was going to happen that quick. I thought it'd be like, oh, that thump on the roof in about 5 minutes. There's
Right.
going to be payoff for that. But no,
Right.
5 seconds.
yeah,
Suddenly there's ropes
yeah.
outside the window, and
ninja-like characters
ninja-like-
kicking their way through the.
Well, one of them comes up and punches the woman in the
they
face.
smash through the window. I mean, you don't see enough of that in the movies these days.
What's smashing windows or punching faces?
Both, but
Yeah.
no, I mean the whole rope, the whole. Like, why don't you just come up the elevator and shoot them?
Oh, I know.
Like,
They're unarmed. They're not. You're not like you're not like going to a den of thieves or anything like that. It's an office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just some corny businessman.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I kind of lost the plot on the plot. I'm not sure who that fucking guy was. It didn't
Well,
really
yeah,
matter to me.
the plot doesn't really matter. It's kind of convoluted. It has to do with the bad guy eliminating union people that are against his diabolical plot.
He's an auto mogul, like
Mm.
an automobile company mogul.
Yeah.
And he basically played by Craig T. Nelson, and he's basically eliminating, it seems like, any competitors
no.
and people within the auto industry.
Union
Well, no,
people,
so
anybody.
he can control,
whatever.
Oh, I knew
Whatever.
that.
presidential races.
I
and
knew the
like.
Craig T.
Yeah.
Nelson thing. I just wasn't sure who the hell this guy was.
Yeah.
Well, you find out later, obviously.
Um, So yeah, they smash through the window, but at this point we still have no idea. They
Yeah.
smash through the window because that's the more dramatic way
Yeah.
to murder the most effective way to murder somebody is to
In 80s action
handcuff them to an exploding briefcase.
Well, that's later in the movie.
And then they totally shoot the whole place up.
Yeah. Oh no, they shoot him with a rocket launcher in the stomach, and then he flies through the glass.
He blows out the window, and he's on fire as he plummets.
Yeah.
And they really let that dummy hang.
I
Like,
thought
they spent
The
some good
woman
money on
goes
that
out the
dummy.
window too, though.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of a moment in Towering Inferno when Robert, what's his name?
Downey Jr.?
No,
Blake.
Robert Wagner.
Wagner.
In Towering Inferno, he has a scene where he dies, and then his lover flies out a window on fire, and just because it's a Towering Inferno. It reminded me of the woman flying out the window.
Right. I thought that was actually a pretty good stunt. You know, they followed the guy all the way down the building, and
he interrupts someone's dinner. He
he
crashes through like a
that's
glass.
crashes
ceiling.
through he cut a glass ceiling into a restaurant, into a table.
Yeah,
I thought it was actually pretty darn good stunt.
fun,
It was a good way to start the flick.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, hell of a way to start the movie. Just Action Jackson.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what you would call the instigating incident, or whatever the hell they call it. She gets punched in the face, and then he gets his gun, and he turns around. It's one of these things like, where'd they go?
Well, these guys are like invisible ninjas. They're there, and then they're not there. They're there, and they're not there. They're in the ceiling.
It's
they're
like
in the
Hit
plant.
Squad,
behind the lamp.
And he's shooting everything in his office.
Yeah,
He
just randomly shooting
and
everything.
He shoots the television, and for some reason, it catches on fire. I guess when you shoot it's not even on. It was an off TV.
It's the 1988 television.
Just burst into it was General Electric.
Well, it's just a big tube and gasoline. That's all. That's how they're made back then.
The oil powered televisions. Anyway,
Yes.
so and then they shoot him with a rocket launcher, and he flies back and ruins a dinner.
Sure did.
Okay, so it's one holy shit of a beginning.
Yeah, I like the beginning.
And then you see the opening credits.
Yep.
And everybody is in this fucking movie. Vanity.
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson.
Yeah.
That's just about everybody, right?
And Sharon Stone.
That's 80s Hollywood right there.
Yeah.
And Craig T.
You're
Nelson.
forgetting one. Thomas F. Wilson.
No.
Thomas F. Wilson.
Yes, I know he's in there.
A.K.A. Biff.
Yeah.
And
A.K.A. a religious guy you've had to open for on the comedy
show. I was supposed to open for him. But
Who was he in this movie?
You get this. The name, I looked it up, as in I waited for the credits.
Uh-huh.
The name of his character is Officer Cornblow.
That was Cornblow?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I wrote his name down too.
Who else are you gonna get to play Cornblow than Thomas F. Wilson? It's the role he was born to play. In fact, if I ever meet Thomas F. Wilson, okay, so I was supposed to open for Biff or Thomas F. Wilson
or Cornblow
at a comedy
Better known
club
as Cornblow.
in Edmonton. And it's really hard to get booked at this comedy club. It took me, I'd been on the phone just trying to get through this for like weeks. And finally I get the booker. And he's like, oh, I guess we can bring you in like in 3 weeks. Can you open for Tom Wilson?
A.K.A.
Cornblow. And I was like, Biff? And he's like, yeah, but you can't ever, you got to share a condo with him. And you cannot mention Back to the Future. And also, he's a conservative Christian, so you can't swear at all. And I was like, I'm out. Like I would love. There's just no way I'm not going to ask about Back to the Future.
Not.
Sharing a condo with Biff, that's like a game show. Like, can you not mention Back to the Future? Well, I don't know. Maybe he's a really nice guy. I don't know. Anyway, but if I ever get offered that opportunity again, I'll just never shut up about Action Jackson.
Yeah.
They're like, what? So what was it like wearing?
Yeah.
So they fit you for the uniform, or do you have to buy your own?
Yeah. Hey, Cornblow.
Did you make up those dumb jokes that you told in the cop car?
Yeah.
Anyway, Cornblow. Can I get you to autograph my copy of my poster? My childhood poster of Action Jackson?
Probably a little ratty by now, I bet.
Oh, yeah, and the Pointer Sisters do like the lead song.
Which is a really weird song. If I remember correctly, I wrote down the name of the song. It's called He Turned Me Out. Which is like basically turning someone into a prostitute, right? Isn't that what that means? Turning someone out.
I didn't catch the title of the song, but I noticed that it was a Pointer Sisters tune.
Yeah,
I just kept thinking about Beverly Hills Cop because that opens with a Pointer Sisters song. And
it was a Neutron Dance.
Yeah, it was Neutron Dance. And I was like, oh, maybe this is like Beverly Hills Cop, like black protagonist. Maybe it's like it put it in Herbie Hancock, and I was just like, oh, well, there's a lot of African Americans involved with the making of this movie.
Yeah, it's good to see.
Particularly in the music.
It's good to see.
But boy, the music is a problem with this film.
Oh, it's the 1980s. It's the music. All the music in it is terrible. Like there's 2 songs by Vanity
that are amongst the worst songs I've ever heard.
They're
so hard to get through. Faraway Eyes, no relations to the Rolling Stones classic.
Like Betty Davis Eyes.
No.
Faraway Eyes.
I don't know what that means.
The Stones have a classic song on Some Girls called Faraway Eyes.
Right.
Great song.
They're amputated. They're in a jar far away.
They're sunken back into their skull because
we'll get
radiation.
into jars and amputations later.
Oh yeah, no, yes we will. We certainly will.
Oh yes.
So yeah, the music, and it's like anytime there's any kind of like comedy scene, it is.
Oh,
but by the way, aspiring directors, if you're ever doing like a comedy scene, you don't have to have
yeah, it was like it was like the Seinfeld music.
Yeah, yeah, but even that's more subtle. This was like it was like watching a cartoon or
it was
like a Flintstones or something.
And the running gag was the kid Albert, yeah, who faints because he's heard so many horrible things that Action Jackson was raised by a Yeti, or he was birthed by witches. And
it starts basically a kid fails at snatching a purse.
A young African American.
The two cops pick him up. Yeah. One of them is Biff. Yeah. Biff Cornblow.
Biff Cornblow.
And his partner.
Well, whoever that is.
And he's like really obviously gonna steal some old lady's purse.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is adorable because I haven't seen that in the movie.
But the woman, of course, is having nothing of it, and she flattens the guy and then starts beating on him with the purse.
Yeah.
I once saw a crazy purse snatching outside the store one day. I was sitting at the desk here, looking out the window, and a young guy ran by the window with the purse obviously under his arm, and a huge man was chasing him.
Did you not stick your leg out like
no, I was back here behind the desk.
Like it was like Wile E. Coyote style?
They ran heading north, and then like literally a minute passes, and then coming back south is the huge man dragging the guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in a headlock. And then I went out to kind of see what was happening. It turns out it was the guy's wife's purse.
I wonder where he's taking him to.
The cops arrived.
Why did
he just dragged him back to the corner, I guess, where the wife had been, and gave the purse back, and then held him there till the cops.
Citizens arrest.
Yeah. Local cornblow.
Yeah, and the joke is so obvious because it's like the old lady. Look, I thought that it was.
She's way tougher.
Here's what I thought was going to happen. I thought big reveal, wig comes off, and it's Action Jackson.
Like in what's that?
Because it's a heavy
Nighthawks, yeah, Stallone.
It's a heavy set older lady, and I'm like, oh Jesus, I'll bet you. And then he's like, I'm sick of this dressing up like an old lady detail. I want no Action Jackson. But
so he's been demoted so much that he has to dress up like an old lady, and hopefully somebody steals his purse.
Drag force, yeah, Brazier Jackson. Old lady, whatever. Anyway, so the cops take Albert in, and they're filling his head full of shit about this guy Action Jackson.
He's going to basically destroy him.
They make it sound like they're going to let Action Jackson fuck him.
Yeah, just like take him in a room and just rip him apart with his cock.
Traction Jackson. Yeah. And when he's done with you,
yeah, you know, nothing left.
You're going to get savaged by this human pit bull terrier, and he's just like a guy. Like, I don't know. Whatever.
Well, he's a pretty big guy, but he's just a guy, and but he's also a really sweet guy. Like he's got a very nice disposition.
Well, let's not jump ahead yet. We don't meet him quite yet in all these reviews. Well, they get him to the station, and the kid's so scared that he tries to run away. Right. First of all, the two cops who bring him in and start sexually harassing a woman who may or may not be a prostitute, and one of them makes a sick joke about getting a hand job from her, and she says about the foot job. She offers him a foot job, and then beautifully kicks him in the balls, puts him in his place. Then the kid they've brought in tries to run out of the station. He takes advantage of this moment. He runs, makes a break for it, blocking his exits and stuff, and ends up at the desk of Sergeant Jackson.
Where he spills coffee all over his paperwork.
He spills Action Jackson's coffee.
Yeah. Who's the one who was it? Action? Maybe it's before this, but somebody says it was a regular fuckarama at my place last night. Was
Tom Wilson?
Was that Cornblow said that?
Biff Cornblow.
Oh, Biff Cornblow.
The jokes
getting all the good lines.
Can't they ever have cops telling good jokes? It's always like, I don't know what's worse, the time I got shot or
the time I got stabbed.
Your dumb cracker jokes.
No, well, because cops don't have a sense of humor. That's why.
Apparently not.
That's why they're cops.
Not in 2020, they don't.
Right.
Yeah. Police Academy.
Oh, that documentary.
Yeah. Well, Police Academy, I mean, are they supposed to have a sense of humor, or are they just morons that you laugh at? Are you laughing with
that's a good question,
Steve Guttenberg, or are you laughing at Steve Guttenberg?
And what was the guy that makes all the funny noises? That guy.
That guy is amazing.
You're always laughing with Michael Winslow.
Yes, I love
That's
him.
what that is, okay.
Yeah. And then there's like this, it's like the camera tilts up, and this kid is just about to just shits his pants. And then nothing happens.
And then I think Action Jackson says to him, "Mellow out," and then the guy passes out. He faints.
Yeah, but that's always funny.
Have you ever seen anybody faint?
I faint.
You faint? Do you faint when you get scared?
No. I have a thing where
Really?
I've been known to faint.
Really? I've never seen.
Yeah, when I was worse when I was a kid. I'm claustrophobic, so if I'm in crowds or in closed spaces.
So you must love the pandemic then.
You know what? I'm okay with it because everyone's steering clear. No one's on the bus. Like, I'm really okay with people keeping 6 fucking feet away from me. But it's even worse when they get closer. Yeah, crowds.
You should wear one of those old timey hoop skirts. That's like keeps like a huge distance around you, so people can't even get close.
Yeah.
Try that.
But then I would feel trapped in the hoop skirt.
That's true because I think it comes with a corset too, which will totally enclose your torso.
And I'd probably keep. And gentlemen would be asking me to dance
all the time. Yes. Okay, there's another joke that's here. Somebody says your protein pickup. What does that refer to? You guys remember what that refers to? Is that like a big glass of cum or something like that?
I was saying, is that when you lick cum off the floor?
Yeah, I think there was a joke alluding to that.
Because now we meet Craig T. Nelson.
First he goes into his boss's office, played by Bill Duke, who's also in Predator. For some reason, he sends Action Jackson to the Man of the Year Awards.
Yeah.
He's the worst guy to send there.
Yeah.
Because he has a history with him. He got demoted because of Craig T. Nelson.
Because Craig T. Nelson had a sex offender's son.
Yeah.
And apparently Action Jackson ripped his arm off.
No, he said, you nearly tore that boy's arm off.
Okay, I thought he tore the
arm
off.
I wish he tore his arm off. That would have been awesome.
Basically, is responsible for this guy going to jail. But apparently really roughed him up badly enough.
It would be like sending Trump's kid to jail, basically. Like back in the day before Trump became the worst person ever.
And then he was still the worst person ever.
But now he's the president.
He hasn't fully blossomed yet.
Exactly.
Like a fine wine made of piss.
Actually,
did you ever hear how Penn Jillette describes Donald Trump's hair?
No.
Because Penn Jillette was on the Celebrity Apprentice.
Right. Oh, dear.
Cotton candy made of piss.
That's wonderful.
That is awesome.
That's the best description I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But the last time I checked, if you have a personal history, you're not allowed to be on the case or do anything.
Well,
right?
No, but he's been demoted. He has a desk job. So what does the boss do? Sends him to represent the police to the Man of the Year Awards to the guy that got him demoted.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No, it makes zero sense.
It really should have been that Action Jackson overheard that this was going to happen,
and then snuck in or something,
and then snuck in.
Yeah,
because then he would also actually be doing something. Because I made a note.
But still, lapses of logic for me in movies like this make it even more entertaining.
I made a note.
Yeah. I smiled. I mean,
I knew it was 38 minutes. It was the 38-minute mark before Action Jackson did anything.
Oh, really?
Because otherwise he's just drinking coffee or complaining or like
boring Jackson.
They're laying on the irony.
Everyone else has done action.
It's funny when he gets to the award show, and I guess I missed the credits because I did not realize Sharon Stone was in this movie. You know what? I actually said out loud by myself in the room, Sharon Stone.
Yeah.
And then nobody there to hear it.
Yeah.
I always liked Sharon Stone.
And your wife was like, "Keep it down."
Yeah. What are you talking
when you're watching Action Jackson.
Yeah. And then I was like, no, this relationship's over. And then we're introduced to Craig T. Nelson, who I don't think I've ever seen anybody eat more scenery than this guy in a movie. Like, holy shit!
And he has a dye job in his hair. He's not your usual Craig T. Nelson. It's like to play a baddie. He got his hair. It's kind of silver.
It's blondie silver.
It's kind of Trump without the top, like slick.
Like that's the last time I saw a dye job on a bad guy that bad.
So why? What's with bad guys having blonde dye jobs?
I don't know. But it happens all the time.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's like 3 Stallone movies where that's the case.
We're also introduced to some of Craig T. Nelson's henchmen, which has the fucking henchman guy who's been in movies forever. We have a
documentary. It's right here.
Al Young? Is that it?
The Al Young.
Yeah.
Yeah, Al Young.
Like
Die Hard, Big Trouble in Little China.
I always like that guy. He's always got great screen presence. Although they didn't give me anything to do in this movie.
In Die Hard, he improvised the chocolate bar.
Well, that was his character. They gave him, that was his character.
He looks around and he reaches down and he steals a chocolate bar.
Right. Well,
anyway, so yeah, what made me laugh though, because the actual, I was wondering if this is a comedy, because the sign behind Craig T. Nelson when he's getting the award says Detroit's Businessman's Man of the Year Award. It says, it's Detroit's Businessman's Man of the Year Award.
Is it like written by a 5-year-old?
It's fucking hilarious. I actually had to rewind it and go like, is that Was that a mistake? Or anyway, it's just really weird. Anyway, and so Craig T. Nelson cracks a joke, and everyone thinks he's the bee's knees.
Yeah, but he's obviously evil.
He's got to be a scumbag.
He's evil. He's evil because his eyes are always really wide.
The bad guy glare.
Yeah.
And he's also the most charismatic person in this movie.
Yeah.
So you know he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
So Action Jackson, I think, has a few words.
They have a few words. They get introduced through Sharon Stone.
Yeah, because he's chatting with Sharon Stone, and
Sharon Stone doesn't realize the previous history. She's not the mother of the deviant kid Craig D. Nelson has. She's like his second wife.
Yeah, because like Action Jackson's sort of standing in the shadows, and Sharon Stone goes up to him, and she said, "You can hardly even see from here," or whatever. She goes, "No, this is the best place in the house," or whatever. And then he goes on to say what a scumbag he is, and then she's introduced as his wife, and he's like, "Nah."
And she hits on Action Jackson too.
Yeah, she's
she's
got those Betty Davis eyes.
She makes a Sharon Stoney joke, like, "I bet I could give you a boner," or whatever.
Yeah, and then she sits down and shows her vagina.
She's never gonna live that down. Mm-mm. And she didn't have to make the sequel. Basic Instinct.
She did not have to make the sequel.
Book of Shadows or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah.
Almost directed by David Cronenberg. I'm not joking.
Really?
He was attached to that film for the longest time.
Fuck, I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah.
Like see Cronenberg do like a sex crime movie.
Yeah.
Although he probably has done some of those.
Didn't he do Dead Ringers?
Yeah.
Which I've never seen.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's just a study of insanity.
Is it gross? Like most David Cronenberg movies?
It's pretty gross.
Oh, yeah, it's nasty.
Yeah.
I'm not really big on body horror.
But yeah, it's got Jeremy Irons as twins and insane twin gynecologists with really weird looking instruments. It's really good.
That's got to be confusing for everyone else in med school.
Yeah.
Which charismatic British skinny?
It's psychopath.
Is one of them good, or are they both evil?
One's a little more evil than the other one, I think.
Oh, but they're both evil.
Yeah, they're both not good, and they're both addicted to drugs or something. I can't remember. It's been years since I've seen it.
I guarantee you, they came up with a title for that movie, and they were like, "Fuck yeah!"
Mm-hmm.
No, you know what it was,
and then they just sort of wrote the movie around.
Yeah.
No, not at all. It's based on a true story, and the film was originally called Twins, but it was coming out the same year as the Danny DeVito Arnold.
Yeah, you don't want to mix those up. You take your family to see a movie.
Ivan Reitman and Cronenberg are old friends. Produced Action Jackson, also produced Predator, and they got talking about their mutual love of 70s blaxploitation films.
Yeah.
I wish it had been a little more blaxploitative.
Yeah,
well, it was a little too restrained. It's hard to say. This movie it's like there were long stretches where just nothing happens and it's so boring. Like, how many jobs does this fucking Albert kid have?
Oh, I know.
Where he sees
Action Jackson. They keep
Jackson
bringing him back.
It's the worst joke. It's so not funny. Although that actor got like a couple of months' pay.
So after the awards show, they have some words, and we cut to a boat.
Yeah.
And then then there's these guys telling, I guess maybe this was new at the time.
Arms and legs jokes.
Yeah. Was this like maybe something was new? And
no, when I was a kid, those jokes were old.
But they did like 5 or 6 of them.
No arms, no legs, like in the water. Bob.
Yeah, Bob on the wall, or on the floor, Matt. All those stupid
jokes. On the
jokes.
edge, Cliff.
Exactly.
Oh, I never heard that one. What do you call a man with no arms, no legs, with a rabbit up his ass?
I don't know.
Warren.
Actually, it's not bad.
No arms, no legs jokes. Helen Keller jokes. I was just waiting for them to get around to Helen Keller.
Oh, yeah, they're so bad.
So they're telling the no arms, no legs jokes.
And then those silent ninjas come up, and one guy gets hit with a knife, and it's so hard it just knocks him right off the boat.
Yeah. Another guy gets an arrow through him, which I love.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. One guy gets like an arrow in his chest, and somehow the force of or knife in his chest with such force that it actually sends him reeling over the railing.
Over the railing, yeah.
Like, a cannonball might do that.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you just fall down on the deck?
Yeah, or just go, ow.
Yeah, but I mean, that's awesome. And then some guy, like, jumps on, like, over from the water side, like, jumps over the railing and, like,
there's a
lands,
trampoline
like,
down.
like, what the fuck? Like, and he's not wet.
No, they're super ninjas. Yeah, that's the thing. They're not wet.
There's some really interesting, like...
I guess maybe they're some sort of boat, but they didn't show anything like that.
And you know that the dude's going to die because he's listening to Pagliacci.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm trying to listen. He's on the phone yelling at somebody.
It's like someone saw the Untouchables 2 years earlier. Like, that's how Sean Connery gets it. He's listening to Pagliacci.
I just watched the Untouchables a little while ago.
Love that fucking movie.
Still holds up.
So great.
There's a couple clunky scenes, but it still holds up.
My favorite to comma. And then And, he's the one who gets handcuffed to the briefcase, right?
Yeah, as and then the boat just blows the fuck up. It blows up.
When shit blows up in this movie, it blows
up.
Yeah, the guy, he gets a briefcase handcuffed to him. He pops over the briefcase, sees the bomb, yells out the obligatory "no," and then.
But you know what? And then it had the 10 seconds, and it was actually 10 seconds for once.
Yeah.
Usually it's like 10 seconds and it's
like
2.5
20
minutes.
Yeah.
Because I always do that when I see a watch or a clock and a bomb. I just start counting in my head, and it's never accurate.
Nope.
In this case, he's crawling around, and he has just enough time to scream like "fuck."
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's just like. Oh no, this really sucks.
Yeah. Boat blows up, and then
boat blows up. Okay, so that's cliche number 17.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I like that this movie is a cliche-ridden.
Yeah, it's cliche after cliche after cliche.
A catch-all of cliches.
And then we have so I have written down who loves this car. I guess there's a scene coming up where Craig D. Nelson is in love with this car. No, Action Jackson loves his car.
Yeah, it's a vintage convertible.
Yeah. It's a pretty nice fucking car.
Yeah, he doesn't take very good care of it.
He doesn't take good care of it at all, especially for a cop.
I know.
But we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
But he hands it over to some kid who
Argyle.
he knows is going to totally abuse it.
Argyle.
It's Argyle from Die Hard.
Yeah. Give the guys the keys to your car.
He's a car key guy.
Right. That's right. Thanks.
Yeah, Argyle. I'm just like, wow. This guy had a good late 80s.
Yeah, I've kind of playing the same guy.
Driving action guys around. Yeah. That's his job.
And then we're to introduce the Robert Davies character here. And I've written down always a bad guy, or Davy, or whatever you call him.
Robert Davi, yes.
He's either a bad guy or he's crazy. I remember him in Showgirls. He has one of the best lines. It's after Elizabeth Berkley sort of made it as a dancer. She's not as a stripper anymore because he was the owner of the strip joint she worked at. And they run into each other later on. And they're parting ways. And he goes, "Hey, you're looking great now. You're not all covered in cum."
No.
Oh my God!
Thanks, Robert Davi.
Yeah. But that solidified my love for Showgirls was that one line. Well, back to the movie.
Back to the.
And this is where we meet Vanity. She's singing a terrible song.
Oh, she's
Far Away Eyes.
Okay, well, first, hold on. Totally... before we get there, I wrote down the busiest police station of all time. Like. Everybody in that room is doing something.
Walking around doing something.
It's tremendously distracting.
Yeah.
It reminded me of The Last Action Hero. Like that like the one thing, the only thing I like about The Last Action Hero is the police station is just
it's a beehive
chaos.
Of activity.
Like everyone's just, oh my God, we're all solving crimes all the time. And there's a dude who looks like Cobra in the background. Did you notice that?
No,
some of the background extras in this movie are fucking hilarious.
I like to watch Cobra. We should do that for the.
But yeah, there's a dude dressed as Cobra. He's got the leather jacket.
Awesome.
He's got the sunglasses and a toothpick in his mouth.
Really? Is he cutting pizza with some?
No, that would have been too much of a giveaway.
Yeah.
He wasn't fighting a mutant with a fucking axe. But but I started noticing the extras in the background, and I think the director's like, let's put some like in jokes about other action movies
might as well.
in the background.
I wish I would have seen that.
Anyway,
I'll go back and watch it again.
And the boss is like, "Where's Action Jackson? He was rude to the douchebag of the year award guy." and then it's like crickets. Like Action Jackson is just gone. Robert Davi is locked up in his apartment, and he's got some information.
Oh, he's like exposition guy. He just says everything that's happening in the movie so far
is Craig T. Nelson's fault.
Yes,
I'm almost certain of it.
Yeah.
I haven't told anybody yet, but as soon as I bring the fucking. The Garlington Memorandum or whatever it was.
The Garlington Memorandum.
Remember from Darkman? The Belisarius Memorandum.
Right.
But anyway, so he's got the Belisarius Memorandum, and Action Jackson's like, well, I guess I'll just leave you here alone, all crazy in your apartment.
Can we meet maybe in person like another time? And you just be by yourself and hope for the best.
Yeah. And he's always looking out the window. Yeah. It's like, okay, if you're so fucking paranoid that this businessman who owns the whole city wants to kill you, why do you remain in your shithole apartment with no security?
Why don't you go with Action Jackson?
Yeah, or leave the city.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
submarine.
Literally, Action Jackson passes the murderer. Like he gets on the elevator, and then the murderer, who is so clearly not a UPS
He's
man.
a UPS guy. That's right, a murderous UPS guy.
I literally thought, when I first saw him on screen, was convinced, holy shit, it's like a cameo by Reggie Jackson. He totally reminded me of Reggie Jackson.
The baseball player?
Football player? It's another Jackson. Action Jackson.
Yeah.
Reggie
Mr. October.
Reggie Jackson. So.
But he's like all sweaty, and like, if I ever saw a UPS guy who looked that suspicious, I'd probably phone UPS and go, I think there's
How do you even get in the building?
Well, you're dressed as a UPS guy.
Yeah, but they didn't buzz that guy.
I used to deliver flowers, and I probably could have gotten into Fort Knox.
Yeah?
Honestly,
And murdered
that
the whole,
cliche in the movies where someone's like, I got a flower delivery for Johnny Bad Guy.
Flowers by Irene.
And they actually fucking let you in. It's crazy.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, and
Good
so,
to know.
And then Robert DeVee, who's supposed to be like so suspicious, he's like, oh, sure, let me just open the door.
Yeah, without even looking in the eye hole.
Sweaty UPS guy who was wearing sunglasses. Then now we get around to what's her name?
Vanity,
and she is playing.
She's lip syncing some shit song
at Joey's Club Elite.
Did you notice that all the bars and stuff in this movie are like under some stairs in a building? Everything is underground and seedy.
Yeah,
all of them are. Even like some like the restaurants and everything's under people's stairs, and it's weird.
It seems like a very Los Angeles thing.
Is this set in Los Angeles? This is
not it's Detroit.
Detroit, right?
Because it's the Detroit's Businessman's of the Year's awards.
But she's singing this song, and it goes on for fucking ever. And it's terrible.
It's one of the worst songs I've ever heard.
But actually, it ends in a pretty funny line because Craig T. Nelson's the only one she's singing it to, and he's sitting there by himself in a chair, and he's got a little bottle of booze or whatever, and he's sitting down, and the song's over, and she goes up to him, and she says, I was expecting a standing ovation. And he looks at her and waggles his eyebrows and says, you're getting one.
You're getting one. Yeah. Yeah. I saw that. I was just like, oh, please don't say you're getting one. Yeah. And they also let that hang.
They sure did.
So to speak.
Like they're waiting for the audience reaction.
It's just like, I thought I got a standing ovation.
Yeah.
I have an erection. I mean, you're getting one. Can we fuck now?
Yeah.
Or not fuck? I'll just shoot you up with this weird
syringe. Then it gets weird. Yeah. We get the gratuitous nudity from Vanity, and then he pulls out this monster syringe. But last time I saw something like that was like in King Kong.
Yeah. What was that?
It was like she's a junkie, although you wouldn't know it until you're told she's a junkie.
And it really has no bearing on the plot at all.
Not really. No, she looks sweaty sometimes.
She doesn't need to be a junkie at all.
She doesn't. No. But it's just to imply he's got this extra power over her.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway,
his evil ways.
Yeah, well, for some she's on top of him. She's taking her top off.
Yeah, he makes another one-liner about "Give me 2 reasons."
Right.
Then she takes her.
But then he just shoots her up and lets her pass out.
She was nominated for a Razzie for this movie,
but
I thought she was actually really good.
She was fine.
She was better than I expected. Like for a pop star doing, I mean, she's no Meryl Streep, but I mean, she's good, man. She's not Streisand.
Well,
or something,
she's not Razzie worthy.
No, she's definitely not Razzie worthy. And no, she gives a solid performance in the movie. I did look up Roger Ebert's review after watching it, and he actually liked her in it too. That's one of the few times I've ever
agreed with her.
Agreed with that guy. But
is she a model or something?
She was originally a protege of Prince's.
Oh,
like she had a band, Vanity 6.
She used to play in his band.
Yeah, and she was supposed to be the female lead in Purple Rain, but they had a falling out, so hence the Apollonia. Also, when she and Prince split up, she had a band, Vanity 6, that became Apollonia 6.
Apollonia took over her band, too?
Yeah. So but Apollonia can't sing worth shit.
So
like
Apollonia
Vanity,
not only took over her movie role in Purple Rain, but took over her band?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Jesus Christ. It out for her.
By the way, Vanity,
it's like single weight female.
I read an article with her many, many years ago, like in the 90s, she's a born-again evangelical Christian.
That sucks.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. What a waste.
But Prince was a weirdo, too, wasn't he?
He's a Mormon, wasn't he?
I thought he was a Jehovah's Witness.
That's it, yeah.
The same. That's different than a Mormon, right? What do we got here?
For some reason, I wrote, these henchmen are the henchiest of henchmen.
They're very henchy.
They're just they crack dumb jokes, and they don't care about each other, whether they live or die.
No, well, that's a whole thing about henchmen. I've got a bit. I'm working on something involving henchmen. I'm not going to give anything away, but henchmen have always baffled me in movies.
Yeah, like how much are you getting paid?
Yeah, why would you work for somebody who murders?
The final statement on henchmen, though.
There's a final statement?
The final statement on henchmen is that first Austin Powers film.
Okay. Can I ask you something?
The 2 cut scenes.
Yeah. I saw Austin Powers in Scotland when it came out.
Yeah.
And they had those scenes. In the movie, where it's like Austin Powers runs the one guy over the steamroller, and then it cuts to the kitchen, and a woman's like rolling dough,
right?
And it's like, and then the kid's like, "Is Dad coming home for my birthday or whatever?" Stepdad. It's like, yeah, of course your dad can't wait to come home for your birthday, and then the phone rings, And she picks it up and she starts crying. It's like, son, your father's been run over by a steamroller by Austin Powers. Yeah. And then she turns to the camera and goes, no one ever thinks of the families of the henchmen. And it was the funniest fucking joke. And it had another one with Rob Lowe.
Yeah, later there's another henchman dies later in the movie. And they cut to a bachelor party and Rob Lowe's heading in. And they're like, where is he? It's his own bachelor party. Why is he late? Well, he does work as a henchman for Dr. Evil. Those shifts go late. And then he goes and takes the call. And is devastated. He comes back and says that he died. So they have a big toast to him. There's a lot of love in the room.
His head was eaten by fish or whatever. No, and then no one ever thinks of the friends and family of the henchmen.
Aww.
And then I came back and watched it in Canada, and those scenes have been cut out. And I'm like, are you really that sensitive that you cut out? Like,
really?
I guess because it's an actual consequence of the violence.
I don't know.
So anyway, Craig T. Nelson's having a big fancy dinner.
Yeah.
In a fancy restaurant.
Oh wait, is this after or before when they show him doing karate in his house?
Oh, it's before.
In his what's in his sweater?
Yeah, and he totally beats the crap out of his instructor. He like cripples.
He breaks his
and he like cripples the instructor by snapping his arms.
The guy turns around and then kicks him in the side of the head, and then busts his arm.
And then he goes to help him up and breaks and twists his arm and
it's
snaps
like his
it.
instructor.
And the whole time. He's wearing like his Eddie Bauer fucking. I'm like,
he's wearing a sweater.
I'm like, he's wearing dress pants. First, I'm like, did he just get home from work and get? Is this like the Pink Panther? Like he hires this guy to jump him?
It's like Kato. What also establishes Craig T. Nelson as a martial arts guy, which really doesn't come back into play in the rest of the movie.
Oh,
it does.
A little bit.
I was so looking forward to the big fucking fisticuffs between Action Jackson and Craig T. Nelson.
Happens.
No, a little bit.
It's like 10 seconds, and then they wind up shooting each other. So yeah, Craig T. Nelson is he's wearing his Sunday best while he does martial arts, and then Sharon Stone gets some kind of information.
Well, she gets out of the shower first,
overhears.
really slowly. And there's like another gratuitous nudie shot. Like it has nothing at all to do with the movie. It's just her stepping out of the shower and showing her boobs.
And she overhears the guy named Cartier, who's like their butler, henchman guy, overhears him on the phone talking about a murder that he's committed and stuff.
Right.
And she wants to tell Craig T. Nelson, right?
She tells Action Jackson all this.
Well, she's leaving the house anyway. And Action Jackson coincidentally shows
up. But first she runs out to the car that Craig T. Nelson is in, and he's just doing that thing where she's like, I have the most important information in the world. And he's like,
I'm on the phone.
Hold on, I'm on hold with Pizza 222. No, sorry, I gotta place my pizza order. Like, he refuses to listen to her.
And then he rolls the window up on her. She's there talking to him.
Oh my God, the manual? Like, it wouldn't be nearly as cool. Like, I'm on the phone. And then Action Jackson shows up at Craig T. Nelson's house, and she's like, well, first she's being followed around by Cartier, and she's freaked out by, like, he's like this weird butler or something, and he's like, can I follow you around?
He is the weird butler.
Wasn't he later on Seinfeld? Was he the guy who has the funny voice? And they're like, you have a weird voice. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, they dubbed over his voice.
I have no idea.
He's sort of a bigger, the bigger bald guy, right? Yeah. He's kind of tough looking,
Yeah, but I didn't know whether she was intimidated by the butler or whether Craig T. Nelson had told the butler not to let her go.
I think both. I think and she's also creeped out by him because he just followed her around.
And she just heard him talk about murders.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's kind of like Odo from like Beetlejuice. Like he's sweaty and weird in a suit.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then for whatever reason, Action Jackson just shows up at the house, and she's like, "Oh, I'll get a ride to town with this notorious cop
who's my husband. Who's my husband's?
Who ripped off my stepson's arm?
Almost.
Yeah.
But have we up to this point? Have we seen Action Jackson do any Action Jackson stuff?
I told you, dude. 38 minutes.
Up to this point, we've only seen a Fraction Jackson.
Jackson.
Good one.
Yeah, lack of Action Jackson. He's just, again, I'm just like, is this a joke? Is he going to do anything?
I know.
Again, rich with irony, the screenplay of this.
Rich with irony,
it's practically Dr. Strangelove.
The comic relief dumb guy comes into play again.
Yeah, for what?
I can't remember.
He works in a restaurant.
He works in a restaurant?
Yeah, so
Action right,
Jackson
they're having lunch or something.
And he's the waiter or something,
yeah,
and then he's like,
that. Oh, I know.
And it's like,
so
it's
bad.
Like, this is not funny.
Nope.
Yeah. But I thought he was a pickpocket. Or maybe
he's been scared straight.
Yeah, exactly. He's redeemed
himself. But he has no reason to be afraid of Action Jackson because Action Jackson just told him to chill out.
Mellow out, dude.
So why is he so scared of Action Jackson?
He knows he dodged a bullet with Action Jackson.
Yeah, doesn't want to get on his bad side again.
And now Action Jackson, it's like the sword of Damocles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so she tells they have a drink.
They're in another weird bar under the stairs. They're having a drink.
Where is it now? Under the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably just on the set, like what.
Yeah, I think they just move the furniture around, change the lighting. It's probably the same.
There's like the set fire exit, like just immediately to the right.
Yeah, it was in an office.
You can see the craft services table in the corner. And she's like, what did she tell him?
I can't remember.
It's not really that important. At this point, I'm just like, is he gonna fucking do anything?
Yeah.
Or fuck anyone?
Well, he's not. He doesn't swear. He doesn't have sex. I think she comes on to him at some point, and she turns her down. Vanity comes on to him. He turns her down.
He also has a law degree.
Yeah.
He's a former track star.
That's true.
Probably where the name Action came from.
Which comes into play in the next scene, actually.
It does.
Finally, we see some action.
His law degree never comes...
Nope.
Why would you mention that he has a law degree?
He doesn't seem to know anything about the law.
Well, they're trying to, establish that he's, and
smart.
He's smart, right?
Smart fella.
By the way, you know what's funny? I just thought of a connection here. What's his name? What's the comedian in this, Biff?
Thomas F. Wilson.
Yeah, he's in he plays the gym teacher in the classic Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah.
And there's an episode where he's talking about Rocky 2. He's like, man, that Carl Weathers is ripped.
Oh,
there you go.
Wow.
It came full circle. I wonder if he told anyone on the set.
Like
I was in a movie with Carl Weathers.
You played Cornblow, I know.
He's talking about how much better Rocky 2 is
right?
than the first one. It's so much.
Oh, yeah. They go to his car.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Don't worry, baby. No one's trying to kill you." And then then Johnny Henchman shows up.
Yeah.
Sweaty Henchman. This time he's just driving a cab because I guess that's less obvious than like why? Oh, why would you not drive like a nondescript?
Yeah. And where did he get the cab?
I know.
He works for an auto exec. So
yeah, you just go.
The Reggie Jackson lookalike driving a cab.
Like Action Jackson picks her up and literally throws her out of the way.
Yeah.
And then
he runs after the cab.
And he goes, "I've got to catch a cab." She goes, "Where are you going?" He goes, "I've got to catch a cab." He goes, "Go to the police station."
Doesn't he jump onto the roof of the cab?
Well, he's chasing.
He does a leap over. Oh, he is on the roof, and the guy's firing through the roof.
Right.
He chases the cab and then literally.
He actually runs the cab down.
Outruns it.
Yeah, runs the cab.
Gets on the roof, and he jumps over a car and lands on the roof. And what's so absurd too is that a car roof is not that big. How hard is it to shoot someone through the roof of a cab?
Pretty easy.
He fires a million times and misses.
All in the exact same spot.
I've seen so many movies.
And it's a small. Yeah. It's not like he's on the roof of an 18-wheeler and he could be anywhere.
A train or something like that.
He's like in a very small.
I've shot 4 people from the inside of a car on the roof, and I hit them every time.
And it's usually the first shot.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you don't.
While you're drunk.
Yeah, I know. It's not that hard. Come on.
You think they'd know better?
You would think, especially being a paid assassin henchman guy.
You see it all the time. Yeah. Well, anyway, so they're driving around, and the guy can't fucking shoot Action Jackson, even though he's the size of a refrigerator on top of his cab, and shit is just blowing up in the background.
Explosions and
a canister truck crashes into a car and explodes.
Right.
I'm gonna guess killing at least 2 people.
At least.
Probably more, and it's another one of these huge Action Jackson explosions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, cops aren't allowed to chase any car and jump on the you'll be held responsible
for all the carnage and damage.
Maybe not these days, but they're not even supposed to engage in police chases.
just let them get the license plate, let them go, and hopefully catch them later. Don't endanger everybody's lives around you.
But that would be
really boring.
That would be responsibility Jackson, not Action Jackson. It's gonna go
all talk Jackson.
Responsibility
Jackson. Yeah.
And Action Jackson, he punches through the windshield.
Oh yes, because you can do that without.
He's like, enough of this shit, and then he just he at that weird angle.
Yeah. Which
and does the guy get away?
Well, he also does a backflip over the car too.
That's
right. That weird kind of trippy backflip.
Blackflip.
I like it.
Backflip. They crash in the building, and the guy gets away. He's not in the cab, and he's like, "Where'd he go?"
Oh, that's right.
He's just as even more action-packed than Action Jackson.
And then he goes to see Vanity sing a song.
Yeah, which
another
is
long, tedious fucking song.
Absolutely the worst song I've ever heard.
And it's
all.
Can
you kiss me?
It's all lip sync too, and it makes it even worse.
Yeah, it's fucking awful. So
yeah.
I guess maybe they were hoping to get this show on the soundtrack.
It's so bad. Like the music, the actual band music that's playing with the song sounds like the Seinfeld music with this awful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of.
Exactly.
So, kill Sharon Stone.
Yeah, we go back to Craig T. Nelson's house, which for some reason seems to be filled with smoke. Like as this movie goes on, all the locations are smoky.
Yeah,
everything's just filled with smoke.
I was thinking I actually like that. Like there's a certain.
But why is it all smoky?
Well, nostalgia.
Was it like wildfires in the Okanagan that year?
Well, no. Well, I don't know why, but for some reason in the '80s, Lethal Weapon does this, and.
It's for atmosphere,
like,
I guess,
or it's but like the apartments and the homes of action people. They always have
people
like neon.
Yeah,
and
it's always grotesque.
And it's always like kind of like sweaty and smoky, and
it looks real uncomfortable.
Cobra does that a lot. The fans, the
you wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah, it's like, and you don't really see that anymore. Yeah. Anyways, I thought it was like I would say it's a throwback, but it's actually of its era.
So, and then this is when Sharon Stone starts like just telling him everything.
Hey, bad guy that I'm alone in a room with.
And then they have a really terrible kissing scene. It's like it's so gross. And this is, I guess, when she reaches around and there's a gun in his
waist. Swear he's never.
Talk a bit more, and she hugs him again, but the gun's gone. And then she pops.
It's actually not a badly shot.
He pops her.
It's badly shot.
Yeah,
I thought it was all right.
But he shoots her.
And then he shoots her, and then he takes her wedding ring off her finger.
Yes.
I don't know why, but he does. Maybe he's gonna pawn it or something.
And then he just tosses a fucking loaded, hot, just fired gun to one of his henchmen.
Yeah.
Like just so casually.
Yeah.
Like it's a bag of peanuts.
It works because it had been cleaned. And it's not. He goes, yeah, it works fine.
So they're going to frame Action Jackson. I guess they dump her body in his apartment.
Yeah, because Action Jackson and Vanity are driving back to his place at this point.
Right.
And they see cops outside of his place, and he puts two and two together. He doesn't know Sharon Stone's dead, but he knows that the cops are at his place due to some kind of frame-up.
Well, you think being a cop himself, he maybe would have went and found out what was going on.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it could have been like...
Could be anything.
That's the thing, because he just intuitively knows he's somehow been framed. He shouldn't go there. Like maybe like a bomb was sent to his apartment.
Maybe it was a neighbor's problem.
Maybe it was something. Neighbor's
problem.
Exactly.
Maybe like, who knows?
Whose apartment blew up? Hers or his?
I think it was. I think it was his.
I'm not sure whose apartment.
I think it was Action Jackson's.
She goes over to the fridge and he's just kind of.
No, it's hers. They go back to her place instead. They don't go to his place because there's cops outside and he senses trouble.
And her place explodes.
Yeah.
And they're in the building for the explosion and they survive it just fine.
Right. Yes. This is when we're introduced to, is it Vanity's bodyguard, Mr. Ed?
Well, that's at the nightclub. Yeah. She has a huge bodyguard.
But there's actually a really good scene when he's trying to knock him down to get into the apartment.
Yeah, and the guy keeps blocking his punches.
But then he finally tackles him, goes through the door, and the guy's head just contacts with the edge of the table. I was like, wow, that must have really fucking hurt.
Like, you can kill a guy like that, yeah. I didn't realize.
It was a really good
stunt. William Holden.
They just explain something.
Yeah, William Holden was drunk and he tripped and hit his head on a coffee table.
Oh, I thought maybe he filmed something. Really, eh?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck.
Because later on, Mr. Ed, he goes, I'm Mr. Ed.
Yeah, when he jumps from the rafters on somebody.
He says like a horse is a horse, of course.
Oh, something stupid like that.
I'm just like, a Mr. Ed reference is not something you really see in a blaxploitation
flick.
Okay, so I've got...
I did notice that the movie Creepazoids was playing on
I saw that too.
Hey,
that was cool.
I took a photo, actually, of... I guess I'll
I recognized one of the other titles underneath. I just don't remember what it was.
Yeah, it went by a little too fast for me. So,
but I went back and looked.
He drives by a theater called The State, and they're showing Creepazoids.
Yeah, Born in East L.A.
Born in East L.A.
Is it the Cheech Marin movie?
Yes.
And Slade Girls from the...
So is Creepazoids a weird film? I don't know.
Is that a real film?
I don't know.
I
want to see it.
Yeah, I made a note. I actually had to stop and take a photo of that because I knew I'd never remember it. But Born in East LA, it's like, oh, now I know exactly when this movie was made.
Of course.
Do we even have Born? No,
we don't.
No one's got Born in East LA.
I saw it on VHS back. Well, it was originally released as a Cheech and Chong song, but Chong declined to be in the film.
So
he's driving past the Creepazoids.
I wrote, this guy's just loving the Flintstones.
I got the Flintstones written down here too. The guy with somebody's watching the Flintstones.
I think it's the guy who talks like this.
Oh, the old dude. The old boxer dude that runs the hotel.
Who runs the hotel.
Yeah.
And
I hate listening to that guy's voice. It was just getting on my nerves. So.
But they linger on this guy watching the Flintstones? No, it's Dino. It's a thing with Dino where he's like, "Don't bite me, Dino."
Right.
Yeah, and for some reason...
You hear a voice?
Anyway, and then I think he's the guy who runs the hotel. Action Jackson leaves his expensive car in this shitty alleyway, and then is surprised when he comes back and it's all been
stripped.
Yeah,
but there's a couple funny lines and stuff. Vanity's getting to know Action Jackson. She's coming on to him. She goes, "You got a nickname or something?" Like she assumes everybody has nicknames. It's a weird obviously thing to get him to say Action. And then she makes fun of that because he's no action.
They call me Flaccid Jackson. Don't ask me how I got that nickname.
And then we get one more boob shot, of course.
Yeah, where she's in the shower.
And then the bomb goes off. Was it? Whose department did we determine that was off? And then Action Jackson says, "That's why we don't turn on the lights or answer the phone." Like.
Yeah. Why are we at your fucking house?
Yeah, you never do that. Never do that in your own home.
Yeah, because it's like a bomb connected to her telephone.
Yeah.
Everything blows up in this movie. The whole fucking city blows up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised Albert didn't blow up. So then they go to so Action Jackson and Vanity. I don't know what they're investigating at this point. I'm just kind of like, I know Craig P. Nelson's a bad guy. And at this point, he hasn't really been in the movie for about 10 or 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a good chunk of time that the bad guy is not in this movie.
And she actually says to him one time,
she says, "You're some." Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
She says, "You're some kind of detective, Mr. T. Better watch out." And I'm like, "Okay." Now I remember there was a show called TNT. She mentions the A-Team. TNT, he was a detective, but the A-Team weren't detectives. They were like,
Well,
mercenaries.
they solved crime.
For the people that couldn't get the police.
Also, Carl Weathers helped whoop Clubber Lang's butt in part 3.
If you're going to make a detective reference, you say Columbo or Sherlock Holmes, right? You don't say Mr. T. Mr. T, in fact, B.A. Baracus, the character played by Mr. T, even he wasn't a detective.
No,
the Mr. T reference makes no fucking sense.
No, it doesn't, does it?
The A-Team didn't solve mysteries.
And the A-Team...
They helped fight crime.
But also when
they fought crime, but that doesn't mean they solved mysteries.
But I think when you're also referencing a cultural thing so dated... Because the A-Team was on for 2 or 3 years, and most people have forgotten all about the A-Team. If the kids are watching this now, they're going, "What the fuck is Mr. T?"
There was a porn back then. I never saw it, but I saw it. It was called
Thanks for qualifying that.
Mr. T and A-Team.
Was it called the Gay Team?
No, Mr. T and A-Team.
Oh.
But anyway, but Mr. T did have a show called TNT where he played a detective.
A lawyer. He's a lawyer.
In TNT?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man? How do you know that?
I actually watched it, pal.
That's why he's on the podcast.
He was there. He was, yeah.
Why did you watch that?
Courtroom scenes with glasses and his mohawk.
I pity the fool doesn't
hold
you in contempt.
No, TNT, yeah.
But Mr. T, I would love to have Mr. T defend me. If I was
You'd be in jail in 10 minutes.
Or whatever. Ugh, sucker, argumentative. You can't take Mr. T seriously doing anything.
No, it's true.
Unless you're throwing henchmen into a river and not.
Remember, he had a rap song. Your parents are your friends. Your parents are your friends. It was from a record called Mr. T's Commandments.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Did you have
my father molested
me.
me.
I remember the video.
All I remember is Mr. T's "Be Somebody" or "Be Somebody's Fool," and which is this.
So he's giving you a choice.
Yeah, you can be somebody or be somebody's fool, and most of it involves saying no to drugs. My Mr. T, the best thing you can get is the Left Behind series of films, and I've begged you to let us get some.
We have one. I snuck one into the collection.
It's so bad it's good.
A Kirk Cameron one showed up, and I snuck it in.
I bet it's not here anymore.
In the sequel to Left Behind, Mr. T plays like an underground Christian guerrilla. Army guy, and he's like, just like it says in the Old Testament, black eye for black eye, broken tooth for broken tooth. Anyway, he's like this Christian.
Pretty sure it doesn't
mercenary.
say that in the Bible.
Yeah, no, it really doesn't say.
Yeah.
And God does pity the fool.
God does pity
That's
the fool.
all the fool pitying jokes I can muster for this 10-minute digression. Okay, so they go to a pool hall. Action Jackson.
Right.
Is like, wait here while I go talk to this fucking guy. This is one of the worst scenes in any movie I've ever seen. Oh. And it's like, I'm looking for Jimbo Mahugachik or whatever.
Oh, right.
And it's like Jimbo Mahugachik is in the office, and they go in the office, he's not there. So he's got Jimbo Mahugachik's testicles in a jar.
That's right.
In the closet. And it's like, what?
Well,
why?
And then somebody says, "You never heard the sound of a guy getting his balls ripped off?"
No.
Well, no, nobody has.
No, I've tried, but nobody will sit still long enough.
I just want to hear it. I want to do it.
These weird thugs who just go around cutting guys' balls off
and putting them in jars.
And they're not even that scary. Like they look like regular dudes.
Who are these guys? And what's their purpose in this movie besides the high Jim Mahugachuk?
I'm not sure whose testicles they are.
Is this where he pretends he's a religious idiot?
Yeah, Vanity walks in.
Horrible.
And saves the day.
So they're gonna cut off Action Jackson's backs and.
Please, I hope you could explain this. I have written down hot dog time.
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, that's what the dude says. He goes,
good.
Have you ever heard a man get his testicles ripped off before? And Action Jackson's like, no. And
then, nobody has, idiot.
And then he's like, well, you're about to, because it's hot dog time.
That's right.
And then I'm like, well, isn't it the dumplings? Like, wait a minute, you got the dick off too? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you think it would be like peanut joke or something.
Yeah, it's a pierogi time.
Yeah.
You know, or two hard-boiled egg time.
Has anybody ever called balls pierogies?
I call them pierogies all the time.
Are you Polish?
Ukrainian.
Oh, there you go.
In that movie, Left Behind, was one of the funniest moments where it's like the rapture happens and everyone's like, what the fuck just happened? Goodness gracious me. All the Christians, people just disappeared or whatever. And then this like terrified young woman is running on the street and there's piles of clothes everywhere. And she's like, ah!
All these free clothes.
And then she sees a truck and she runs over to the truck for no reason and opens the door. And then behind the wheel is just a pair of jeans and a flannel shirt and a ball cap. It's like the most trucker clothes.
Anyway, so back to the fucking movie we're watching. Yeah. So Action Jackson all of a sudden pretends he's a religious crazed guy to get out of the situation.
The guy goes, have you ever heard a man get his balls ripped off? And Action Jackson's like, actually, now that you mention it, no. And then the other guy's like, it's wiener time. Hot dog time. And then Vanity comes in.
Right. She tries to defuse the situation.
No, she goes, my brother's retarded or whatever.
And then, right. Yeah.
He's got a plate in his head.
Yeah, he's got a plate in his head.
And then the mental hospital. She
I guess I shouldn't say retarded. But anyway.
But back in 1988, it was okay to say that.
And so. And he thinks he's a gospel singer. Or no, he thinks he's a
preacher.
A preacher. And then I hate it in movies when someone's like tied up or whatever, and someone goes, he thinks he's whatever, and then you see the guy go, oh
yeah, that's right.
Which is exactly what Action Jackson does. And so he starts going like, hallelujah, brothers and sisters, or whatever.
It was cringe-inducing. It's like not funny whatsoever.
And again with the music, then you get the fucking weird gospel music in the background, like
yeah. It was just brutal.
And you know, on set, like I've been on set where some dumb actor has a dumb idea, and everyone has to act like it's the most hilarious thing ever, and the dumb actor has never been told no in their life. And I know that's what happened with this, where it's just Carl Weathers going, yeah, I do this really funny like preacher character,
right? And
so they shoehorn it into the fucking movie.
Oh, it was brutal.
And then and he's like, no, I really think you should keep that hilarious scene that I thought of in the movie. I mean, that's the impression I got from it. And then he punches them out.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get his balls cut. I thought it was going to end with him getting his testicles forcibly removed in the back of a pool hall.
See, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
And if you guys notice, this bar that they're in is below ground underneath some stairs. Just saying.
Again.
Yeah. Thank you. For some reason, we meet a cigar-smoking hairdresser.
What do you think of that scene?
Well, it's shoehorned in just to give some more exposition to tell everybody what's going on. Like, I guess she was a mildly interesting character.
She's smoking the cigar.
She's smoking the cigar, you know.
I got the impression that it was written for a dude.
Oh, really? I didn't get that impression at all.
And then
she talked a lot. She talked and talked, and she laughed at all her jokes. And she seemed like an interesting character. But yeah, she's just there for exposition.
She reminded me of like a Rudy Ray Moore character. Mm-hmm. You ever actually watch Dolomite movies?
I did. I saw a Dolomite movie presented by Rudy Ray Moore.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. At a festival in Montreal, Fantasia, many years ago.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
He presented it, and it was the height of the Bill Clinton scandal, like the impeachment. He was telling nonstop.
Was this the blowjob
triple
scandal?
X-rated, like Monica Lewinsky jokes.
That's
he kept calling her Monica Blowinski.
That's all he's got. Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah.
In Dolomite, there's these great moments where he just stops and does his club act.
Yeah.
I know he's this pimp who's like solving crimes or whatever, doing kung fu. And then he'll just, but then he also has a gig. He's like, I gotta get to my gig, and then he does like these hilarious fucking poems or whatever.
I've never seen a Dolomite movie. I should watch that.
Dolomite's great, man. Yeah. Like I love the Eddie Murphy one that just came out.
That was great.
My Name is Dolomite.
My Name is Dolomite.
Awesome.
Yeah. But it's like, but you really got to see the real deal. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got the impression that she was maybe like some kind of spoken word artist or something.
She might have been, yeah.
She
did look familiar.
She was one of my favorite things in the movie.
The only thing was, like, the only reason she was there is just to forward the story, like, and just to tell everybody what's going on. I wish it would have been nice to see a little bit more of her in the movie because she was an interesting character.
I would have liked to, you know, if there were an Action Jackson too, like, you know, but maybe she's like Felix Leiter or whatever. Like Action Jackson shows up to get a haircut.
Yeah, she's there to help.
And she spoke in these weird rhythms, you know, this weird sort of this cadence, and she had the cigar. And you actually don't see women with cigars very often.
Not often enough.
Yeah, and that went on for a while, and then Action Jackson knew what he had to do.
Yeah, and then he goes and fights Sonny Liston. It was actually a pretty good fight scene because he's a big, strong dude. He's actually also in Predator.
The thing is, there's this weird bit when they go home to go to bed, and then he comes back and she's gone. Vanity's gone, and he's like, "God damn it!" And he's like, "Where is she?" And he's like, "She didn't come through here. Maybe the back door." And then so she goes out the back. He just finds her.
Right.
Some junkie is about to sell her some smack.
Oh, right. She's going to get her fixed.
Some gross kind of metal-looking guy, white metaler guy.
Oh yeah. Right, yeah. And then the guy finds out he's Action Jackson. He pulls out a knife. He's like, "You're Action Jackson. This is gonna be easier than I thought."
So he has an opposite reaction to Action Jackson's persona and reputation.
Like he doesn't buy into any of the.
So he actually thinks he's easy to take down. Then
and then of course he's proven wrong.
So that's the reputation he's heard is Action Jackson's a big pussy.
He's just full of shit.
Yeah.
So they get into a fight, and then Action Jackson stabs him with a syringe. Oh, he dies upon the sword or whatever.
Well, no, he takes him and throws him out the window. He flies across the alleyway and goes through
another window. Yeah.
Was that
but he stabs him with the needle, and it doesn't kill the guy. It just gets him really baked and kind of.
Oh yeah, he throws him out of one window and into another.
It's actually a pretty good stunt.
That's a neat stunt.
I think that was in the trailer.
And the cops are down below watching this whole thing.
And then they jump into like a wrecked car.
It's his car.
It's his car, yeah, because it's been stripped.
Car, yeah.
And like before they showed the car stripped, and then when they jump on the car, it's got a roof on it.
The roof's up, yeah.
Well, the roof is already up.
No, but they said the whole car was stripped. They took everything.
I thought the roof was up.
I don't think so. Anyway, it doesn't even matter.
Well, no, he parked the car as a convertible because I remember when he did that, I remember thinking, like, you idiot. Like, it's bad enough to leave the car out there anyway, with the roof down.
Exactly.
The thing is, like,
what if it rains?
They're not going to,
I think I'd rather take my chances with the ground than a car.
Yeah, because there's so many things sticking up.
You can lower yourself down and just drop onto the ground.
Yeah,
but with a car, it's all uneven.
There's seats and there's a dashboard.
Especially
and
those old cars that were like death traps, Ralph Nader.
Action Jackson they steal a car or something?
They steal the cop car.
They steal the cop car. And then she's like, "I'm not going to do what you want, Action Jackson." He's like, "You got to tell me where fucking Craig T. Nelson lives or something." He's like, "No." And he's like, "Okay."
He drops her off at a bar.
No, he fucking speeds. Is this where
right. He speeds towards like a building or something.
Like, he drives like 90 through an alleyway in a city. Again, could it run someone over at any fucking point?
Someone walking their dog.
And it's towards a brick wall. And he's like, "You better tell me what I want to know. You better help me fight Craig T. Nelson." And she's like, "No." Neither of them are making sense right now.
No.
Because all she has to do is go, "Yeah, okay." And then as soon as she's out of the car, run away. Like, "You're on your own, Action Jackson."
Yeah.
Anyway, and also, was Action Jackson going to drive into a fucking brick wall?
Oh, I know, exactly. Exactly.
So they go to some oil refinery, then it's a seedy bar.
Well, they go to the bar first, and this made no sense.
Yeah, it made no sense.
Yeah, so she like hits on some
in the bar. I'm quite losing interest.
Again, it was under the stairs. It was another bar under the stairs.
Yeah, she gets information from a guy about a big party happening at Craig T. Nelson's house.
But how did she get the information? She's like, "Ooh, I'll blow you if you tell me what I want to know."
It's who knows?
But he actually says, "I don't believe you." It's one of the better bits of writing in the movie because she's all like, "Ooh la la, tell me the thing I want to know."
Well, she's a junkie. You know, she's looking after. She just wants to get to the next fix, kind of thing. Although she's the best looking junkie I think I've ever seen in a movie.
Totally healthy looking.
Healthy looking. Yeah, she's not sweaty and like shaky and sunken eyes.
No, she's a gorgeous, beautiful,
junkie.
Yeah, like she's a Kurt Cobain junkie, not a Courtney Love junkie.
Sure.
No, but who is this guy in the bar? What information is he trying to get?
Yeah. How do they even know he's there? None of it makes sense.
I'm just like, wait a minute. Who is this guy? Is he a heroin dealer?
And there's a lot of people in the daytime in bars.
Well, here's
because they never go to a bar in the nighttime.
He says he's going to take over the union.
They close at like 6 p.m.
He's supposed to take over the union when they assassinate the other.
Right.
Oh, that's right.
And then so the guy.
So he's just going to be drinking in a seedy bar. So anyway, because we met the union leader earlier.
And he's going to an early morning meeting at an abandoned oil refinery.
Yeah, it's the same oil refinery that they use. I swear, like Paramount Pictures just bought an abandoned oil refinery because this is definitely RoboCop oil refinery.
Yeah, it's in Detroit too.
Yeah,
you never go to a meeting in the morning at an oil refinery. Everybody knows that.
Well, they say that what's his name's going to be there. Craig T. Nelson's
Right.
like, I can't believe he's even up this early.
And he's was it Vanity leads him there.
Yeah, Vanity leads him.
And he's like, "Where are we going?"
That's
wow,
it. She says she's. Action Jackson swings down on a chain.
Yeah. Well, I think we have some ninjas there too, or something like that. I don't know.
The ninja squad is there,
right?
Yes.
Like that's his entrance. He swings in down. Have you ever guys gone to a meeting and then shown up on a chain to attend the meeting?
Is he not? Is he not shirtless in this scene?
I'm not sure.
At one point, he's not wearing a shirt.
Maybe he's wearing that sweater.
Oh no, he gets captured, and then they take off his shirt just to show off his glorious ebony muscles.
Right.
So I think he gets.
And then he tells him his entire plan, of course, because he thinks he's going to kill Action Jackson with his ninjas, who all of a sudden become pretty useless and terrible ninjas.
Yeah,
they're going to barbecue him.
And this is when Fat Joe or Mr. Ed jumps in. And,
the Vanity's bodyguard.
So so Action Jackson's been captured, and Craig T. Nelson's like, "I'll tell you my dastardly plan." Yeah,
it's a long involved plan too. That he just keeps going on.
It actually isn't a bad plan though.
Yeah, but you don't tell everyone your plan.
No. Yeah, they were going to burn him to death.
They were going to burn him to death
with a
blowtorch or something.
It was was metal. They were like heating a piece of metal that they were going to
torture. Well, they went to get gas though. They were going to set him ablaze.
Yeah.
And he tells a really racist plot too, because he says they're going to make it look like Action Jackson. He's shirtless because they've taken his shirt and they're going to dress up the cab driver from earlier in the movie. He's also black. And Craig T. Nelson's words, not mine, or the scriptwriter's words, not mine. He says, "All you people look alike."
Right.
And
I can't believe you just said that.
The guests
not
at
cool,
the party,
Craig T. Nelson.
Like the white elites at the party will think they all look alike.
Of course.
But it's ridiculous. Or any other black person could have done it. So is Craig T. Nelson going to go, "It was Action Jackson"? Just like in the Warriors, when it's like the one guy's just like, "It was the Warriors," and then everyone just assumes that he's
the Warriors.
telling the
It's
truth.
a moment of hysteria.
Especially the crazy whiny guy.
Look at the black man in the red shirt. That must be Action Jackson.
Yeah. The worst thing about this movie for me right now is all these, because they've established these ninja assassin guys who are like stealthy. They disappear, they show up, they kill, and they're very good at their jobs. All of a sudden, nobody knows how to fight. And everyone just gets killed so easily. One guy gets electrocuted. One guy is, for some reason, holding a gas can. He gets blown up, and another explosion.
Well, he went to get the gas to set Action Jackson ablaze.
And then, I think the comic relief guy shows up here again or something. I don't know. He keeps showing up.
I know,
like 5 times he just shows up, and it's like, fuck.
Oh my God! Sorry. Earlier,
Doc.
I actually wrote down this terrible, terrible bit of dialogue earlier. The castration scene in the pool hall.
Uh-huh.
They're looking for a guy called Papa Doc.
Which is alluding to the guy from Haiti? Is that what they're talking about?
I don't know what it is, but his testicles are in the jar.
Right.
And so when they got Action Jackson, the bad guy goes, "Papa Doc was a very valuable source of information to us. A regular Library of Congress. But like many libraries, his books were open to the public." Okay.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
He's a regular Library of Congress?
I don't think anyone can just go to the Library of Congress and take out books.
No, but this guy wasn't doing his library research. And when they're going to kill Action Jackson, he goes, "What do you want from me?" Then Craig T. Nelson goes, "To die." And it's like, that's just Goldfinger, isn't it?
Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then the fat guy, the bouncer guy, goes like, "Hello, I'm Mr. Ed,"
and jumps from the rafters. How do you even get up there? And how long's he been there?
In 1988 was Mr. Ed. I mean, I know we've established
the Beastie Boys.
The Beastie Boys,
but that's not why they put that in there.
Beastie Boys didn't popularize.
Yeah, they did.
There's no way that they put that in the movie because the Beastie Boys had that in a song.
I was in grade 8 when License to Ill came out, and none of us knew what Mr. Ed was. None of us.
Well, I found out. I thought Francis the Talking Mule was the originator, and I learned from the Beastie Boys.
He's the OG. Talking
is there anything they can't?
No, he's not. Oh, Ed is.
Is there anything the Beastie Boys can't do?
So Mr. Ed jumps down, and then the worst, like, Schwarzenegger style action pun. The bad guy is holding the gas canister, and then Action Jackson's got a flamethrower or something.
Well, because they threatened to barbecue him before.
Yeah. Oh, they go barbecued ribs.
And he says, yeah, well, you're speaking of barbecue, how do you like your ribs?
And then it cuts to ribs at a barbecue.
Yeah, but before that...
Yeah, it does. Awesome. The next is the Craig T. Nelson party. You see ribs being barbecued.
That's very funny.
But before he kills the guy who's got the gas canister, Action Jackson goes, chill out.
That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
Well,
we should put that on the box.
Why would you tell someone to chill out before setting them on fire to their screaming, horrible death?
Yeah. So it's like the worst way to go.
You say chill out before you throw someone into a vat of liquid nitrogen.
Yeah, exactly.
You say, like, don't be a hothead. Yeah. That's what Schwarzenegger said,
the irony of Action Jackson. All right, so can we just get to the party?
Yeah, let's move along here.
And then he goes, how do you like your ribs? And then it cuts to actual ribs on the...
Ribs being barbecued at Craig T. Nelson. So it's a birthday party for the Union head who Craig T. Nelson wants to assassinate.
Was he going to assassinate him at the birthday party? And then blame Action Jackson.
Blame Action Jackson.
That's your whole plan?
Well, and the thing is, if you want to, why do it at a party?
I know.
So that's what I was wondering. And also, was Action Jackson part of the plan? Because they were talking about their evil plan before they ever met Action Jackson. Like, was Craig T. Nelson like, you know what? I'm going to kill this motherfucker and double down. I'm going to blame it on that asshole Action Jackson.
Well, that wouldn't work because he died before the party. Like in Craig T. Nelson's
but
plan.
What they were going to do is have another guy impersonate Action Jackson. And then the body would have been burnt from the previous scene, and then they were going to have him flee the party and die in a car accident.
So they were going to...
they were going to murder Action Jackson
and then bring his
so-called look-alike.
And then bring his charred body along with him to put him in a car?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's a dumb plan.
It's a terrible plan.
And so, like, the Union guy's there, and fake Action and imposter Jackson is up in a tree with a rifle.
Foster. Among Christmas lights, it looks like.
Yeah,
he is actually. Because Action Jackson swings in on the Christmas lights, I think.
He does.
Christmas lights are not going to fucking hold Action Jackson while he's swinging. They're not that strong.
And then also one of these highfalutin fucking parties, it's another thing where it's like, hey, if these 3 black people put on tuxedos, they can just get through security. Like, what? No. Like, okay.
Why the lead
I'm assuming everyone is, like, racist at this party.
Well, it's a good
maybe
assumption.
That's racist of me to assume all these white rich people are racist.
Probably good assumption.
Well, Craig T. Nelson
I'm picking a guy who talks like this.
Even if he's wearing a fucking tuxedo, they're going to be like, no, you're not on the list.
No, and he's a former boxer. He looks like a pile of beaten meat with a tuxedo on.
Like on top of that, they're black. So, like, these racist people are going to be like, I don't know.
Who are these guys?
Maybe you're the band?
Yeah.
Anyway, so, like, they show up, and they're dicking around with people, too. It's like, hey, get out of my face, motherfucker. I can't remember, but they're
grabbing drinks off things. And
they're causing a bit of a ruckus.
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson would be made aware of the presence.
Yes.
Although
he wouldn't know who they are. He wouldn't know who they are, though.
Friends.
But he would know who they are.
No, but he'd just be like, what are those N-words doing here? Get rid of them.
Yeah.
That's what Craig T. Nelson would say, hypothetically.
Yes. Hypothetically.
He's a horrible Coach was a horrible racist.
The poltergeist is a horrible racist.
So Action Jackson shows up, and he sees it all going down, but he's on the other side of this crowd. He's, like, trying to get through the crowd to go climb the tree to stop. Yeah. Why don't you just shout, look out, he's got a gun.
Yeah.
Everybody get down, he's got a gun.
Exactly.
Or pull out your own gun and start shooting it in the air. But instead he decides to try and run through this huge crowd of, like, elderly white people.
And then swing on some Christmas lights into the tree, which is which would never ever work.
No.
What are they even attached to? It's like those old Spider-Man cartoons where he would fly through the city and, like, attaching his webs to clouds, basically.
We've been through this.
Yeah.
It's airplanes.
Right.
My sister and I had endless debates.
Actually,
about
you know
what was Spider-Man actually? The moon.
You know, like dirigibles, like old timey blimps, like floating through the city. That would make more sense than airplanes. Airplanes move too fast. The sky was littered with zeppelins back in the day.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, so he takes out the guy in the tree and he jumps in a car and drives it to the house, which I don't know why he did that. And he can actually drive it all the way upstairs into Craig T. Nelson's apartment.
Did he?
By the way, well, the assassin, first of all, the assassin does shoot the guy. Then he takes out, Action Jackson takes out, he gets impaled on a fence. Then he sees Vanity up screaming for help. Help me, Action Jackson. And Craig T. Nelson has her.
He's got her.
He jumps in the car, this new car, which is like the Halley's Comet. It's called like the Howie or whatever.
Oh,
he steals the car and then he drives through the house, which is fantastic.
And
I loved it. The movie's ridiculous.
Actually,
but I loved this part.
I did like how stupid it was, and I'm like, why is he driving? Why is he driving to the house?
The hallways are wide enough.
Yeah,
and the cop who has been tasked with bringing in Action Jackson because he's wanted for murder or whatever.
And then they go upstairs and they have like a really mediocre fight.
Yeah,
which was to me that was the most disappointing part in the movie because it's all leading up to this fight between the bad guy and Action Jackson.
And you've established that Coach knows
karate or whatever,
and he's a dirty fighter.
He plays dirty pool.
So I'm just like, let's get the high school, college athlete.
Yeah. Against Poltergeist. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Predator versus Poltergeist.
There we go.
That would be way better than... Because apparently you think this is a great fight scene.
Actually, you're right. It is anticlimactic.
Well, it's like the whole time I'm like, oh, they had this big fight this moment with Craig T. Nelson earlier to establish that he's this awesome fucking... And clearly Craig T. Nelson's an athletic guy.
Yeah, and he actually hands Action Jackson his hat for a little while. Until I think he puts his head through the car windshield. And then Action Jackson, he says, "You're finally pissing me off," or something like that. I was like, all right. And then he ends up shooting him.
Well, the thing is, no, he's got the gun on, or Craig T. Nelson, or one of them has the gun.
Well, they both have a gun. Craig T. Nelson tosses his because he wants to fight or whatever. I think that's what happens. And Bandy keeps saying, "Shoot him, just shoot."
But it's the thing where they put the guns away, and then they have a bit of a tussle. And then they just pick up the guns and shoot each other. So what was the point of throwing the guns away?
It was lame.
The one time people don't go flying through windows, exploding, fucking,
Yeah.
It's the two people you actually want to see. I was hoping for like a lethal weapon.
I wanted an epic fight, like I wanted like They Live style epic long fucking fight.
Mel Gibson versus Gary Busey at the end of Lethal Weapon. Yeah,
that's what I want to see.
And this didn't have any of that. And then I don't even remember how the fucking ends.
He shoots him.
Oh yeah, driving through a crowd, not honking. Okay, so he's a cop. And he's got a law degree, and he's Genius Jackson, and he's driving a sports car through a crowd, and he's shouting, "Get out of the way!" It's like,
yeah, I know. Does the horn not work?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Like honk, honk.
Well, honking's a little rude.
He's all frustrated, like, why are you people in the way of my car that's driving, careening wildly through someone's backyard? And so they're him and Vanity are driving off, and she just leans over and says, "Oh, I'm not a junkie anymore."
Well, she says you wouldn't become partners with a junkie, but how about next junkie, cold turkey?
Yeah,
and he says somebody wants her for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he's like, which is a weird thing to say.
I've got a big baster.
Exactly. What he's going to roast her for his family.
Yeah, I'm going to chop off your head, pull out your guts and your ass.
Yeah, stuff you with some like celery and some sausage. But why? Yeah, why Thanksgiving? We don't even know what part of the year this takes place.
It looked like the summer to me.
Yeah. Well, Thanksgiving's a long way off.
American Thanksgiving's in November, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's closer than Christmas.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Yeah, but Halloween, trick or treat.
Yeah, bitch. Or what about fall
Labor
equinox?
Day?
Yeah, Labor Day. How about Labor Day?
I'll knock you up, and then you'll be in labor 9 months.
It's so easy to go cold turkey when you're a heroin addict.
Cold turkey?
Because you just go like that.
Is that what the Thanksgiving thing was? Cold turkey?
Maybe,
Thanksgiving.
Maybe.
Oh, did she say cold turkey?
She did.
Oh, and he goes, "I'll fuck you on Thanksgiving."
You can fuck me on Thanksgiving, and he's like, "Well, how about now or sooner or something like that."
That was Action Jackson.
Yeah.
Question. Well, you're the one who picked it. Question does it hold up?
Well, I'm going to give you a few stats here. Action Jackson rolls in at 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Really, that much?
It had an $8 million budget, which for $8 million, they got some pretty good bang for their buck. No pun intended. It made $20 million in the theater, but it made $45 million on home video.
There you go. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a significant return on investment.
Does it hold up? Well, I have such a sordid history with this movie. When I started watching it on Saturday, because I just had a bit of a row with the wife, I was not in the best headspace, so I didn't really enjoy it. I like some of it. But overall, it's not a very good movie. No, it doesn't hold up. I don't think I could ever recommend it to anybody.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. How about you, Alex?
I would totally recommend this movie. Yeah, it's a mess. It's terrible and stuff, but it's still, I had a lot of fun. I smiled the whole time watching this movie, especially with the car going.
You must have looked insane then. If I had maybe in a better headspace watching it and just not thinking about
women's opinions of you.
So what I'm going to do...
I can't believe I bred with you.
I'm going to watch this again with my mistress in about 2 weeks, and I'm going to see how that works out, and then I'll get back to you.
By the way, I noticed another connection, though. Do you remember Sharon Stone's name in the movie?
No.
Patrice, the first Black Dog employee ever. Patrice.
Oh, she was actually the second, but yeah. JR was my first pair. Patrice was my second. I'm still friends with both those people. Cool. They're lovely people.
Yeah,
the connection really is with that, but yeah.
It was better. The poster didn't lie to me.
Okay.
Actually, the poster kind of did lie to me. Because I was expecting...
more Sharon Stone,
For some
apparently?
reason, I thought it would be more sophisticated than it was.
Really?
I don't know why I thought a movie called Action Jackson.
There's no sophistication.
It's because he's wearing a tux, and he's just like... I didn't think it was going to be so dumb. You just getting a bit of exercise there?
You're just wandering around in the dark, scratching your butt.
Are you sleepwalking? Anyway, yeah. So I kind of felt like I was like, ooh, this is kind of like getting to watch like some 80s action franchise that I've never seen before. You know, like if you've never seen Lethal Weapon. And then I was just like, boy, the humor really doesn't land.
Yeah.
The action actually, there's a couple of decent actions.
Well, it starts off really well. That opening scene when everyone gets killed and that guy like plummeting to his death on fire. Wow, this is off to a pretty good start.
I just thought it was going to be more hardcore than it. I would recommend it, but only if someone's just like, you know what, I've seen everything.
Yeah. So what's your final judgment on this?
My final judgment is, well, I can't say whether or not it holds up. I would probably say no.
Yeah.
But that said, if you want a fun little dumb action romp, like you could do a lot worse. It's better than any.
Yeah, you could do a lot.
Any Dolph Lundgren movies.
You could do a lot better. That's the thing.
You could do worse. Like it's not Dolph Lundgren, but it's also not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
I'd say he's around Van Damme level. Anyway, yeah, I'd recommend it. But I wouldn't enthusiastically.
No. Oh no, it wouldn't be anything like that. I mean, just when people come in here and they look for like a common thing I hear from different people who don't know each other, like 80s cheese. It's it's fun on that.
You're not putting on your stat picks though.
No, hell no.
So someone comes into the shop, and they've got Action Jackson, but they want to watch two movies. So what would you pair this up with?
Well, I would pair it up with a better film from a mediocre action star. The guy I'm thinking of is Steven Seagal. Pair it up with his only really good film was Under Siege. The Die Hard on a Boat, as they used to call it back in the day. Because that's a pretty good action one. It's got Tommy Lee Jones as a good bad guy.
I think you sold off our copy.
No, we got it.
No.
We did have it, but I think we sold it.
Okay, why don't you go check in the dark over there?
I am going to go
check.
I know we have it.
I literally saw our copy of Under Siege today.
But yeah, I would pair it with Under Siege just to see what a better directed and better, just put all your eggs in the serious action basket instead of trying to be funny.
Basket.
So yeah, I would do that. I would go Under Siege.
And then for shits and giggles, throw in Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. I definitely prefer Carl Weathers to Steven Seagal.
Yeah, but Under Siege is a better movie.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Anyways, what are your picks?
Oh no, let's go with Alex.
Alex, what are your picks?
Carl, I would pick any of Stallone's cheesier 80 movies, like
Cobra.
I would do it with Cobra or Tango and Cash.
I was
where are you going? Are you okay?
Yeah, it's like a crease thing.
Chafes your.
No shave. It's just almost like cuts the blood off.
Okay, Alex has left the building. All right, Dylan, what are your? What did Alex say for his pick?
Sorry,
Tango and Cash or Cobra.
Right, there we go.
I would probably go Tango and Cash because it's more of a humorous film, and Cobra is just a miserable waste of time.
It is. It's terrible.
The pick that immediately came to mind that this movie reminded me the most of in tone and unfunny humor and like not particularly exciting action.
Pretty Woman?
And just a preposterous fucking setup. No, I would call it the Caucasian Action Jackson, and that of course is Roadhouse.
I love Roadhouse. Roadhouse.
Everyone
is
loves
awesome.
Roadhouse.
It's so much fun.
But like this movie just totally reminded me of Roadhouse. Like it was the same level of gratuitous violence, bad jokes. You know what I mean? Like
Roadhouse has way more going for it than that. Has John Cassavetes as the bad guy?
No, it's
Ben Gazzara is the bad guy.
Ben Gazzara, yeah. But also like
it has
Cassavetes was dead by that point.
It has a monster truck in it.
I guess I like Roadhouse, but it's not good.
No, it's not, but it's fun.
And the movie that it also reminded me of is actually another movie that I had a poster of, which is I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. It's the only funny Keenan Ivory Wayans movie ever. After that, it was all scary movie and diarrhea movie and whatever, you know.
All right, I guess we're done. Can I turn this fucking thing off now?
No. All right. This has been a Black Dog production here at Black Dog Video, located at 1470 Commercial Drive in East Vancouver. Mm-hmm. So everybody out there, be good to everybody out there, and we will
stay safe.
Yeah, and join us again in the next couple of weeks.
Stop going to house parties and drum circles.
Put on a fucking mask. Mask or Action Jackson will come and
that's right,
and stare at you and tell you to chill out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Mellow out, man.
Mellow out, man.
The Black Dog After Dark podcast is recorded at Black Dog Video on Commercial Drive in Vancouver, Canada. It's presented by Alex Chisholm, Darren Gay, and Dylan Reimer. It is produced by Dylan Reimer and Darren Gay. Alex just kind of stands there and drinks beer. The intro and outro music was recorded by Tiger Burning Bright, composed by Jeff, who works at Jefferson's Barbershop, also on Commercial Drive. And he's a damn good hairstylist.